everyone, it is Jazz here, and today I want to be talking about how you can basically build out and construct sentences from vocabulary words. So I actually don't teach vocabulary words to my students. It is not something I feel like is really important, because the thing is that you build your vocabulary around basically what you're trying to say. So basically taking words and actually making use for them more than anything else. So we're going to get into it. Okay, so for today, it's basically going to be an activity. It's going to be very visual. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you these. So these are flashcards that I bought when I was in Germany. I bought this at a bookstore in Dusseldorf earlier this year. This is actually supposed to be for kids to teach them English, but what we're going to do is, instead of using them for the normal definitions, whatnot, we're going to use them to build sentences. So I've got them organized in the stack by different categories. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically build it off of the basics of the basic SVO grammatical structure, which is basically very common. So we will be learning, this activity will basically be in German, but basically they follow the general SVO. Their grammatical structure is a little bit different because of the fact that there are certain components that are mixed around depending on how many verbs you have in there. So this stack does not have modal verbs, so we can't to build more structures, but I will actually substitute those with sticky notes. So let's get to the activity. Okay, so with this activity, I have my flashcards, and then I have my sticky notes, and I also have a pen, just so that you can be able to see what I'm doing. So these parts don't mean anything because they are just there for pronunciation. These words are obviously in English and German, but the most important thing, it's not important whether you know what family means in German or not. The main thing is just basically taking this and being able to make sentences. So these are different people we have here. So at random, let's say a member of the household. So out of all of these, the father. Let's actually just use that one. I'm just going to use that for right now. And then I've got verbs. Eating. We'll use that verb. And then I think I have words in here for food. So this is basically up to you. We've got a fork. We've got plate. We've got a spoon. And then we've got a glass. So I'm going to actually use multiple just because I feel like I can. Okay. And then let's see. Numbers. Let's use 3. Just go through this stack and you would just go through a stack of cards, and you basically would just use and just basically make sentences out of them. This is what we're going to do. So we've got our subject, which was the father, der Vater. So I've got the father, and let's say he is eating, which is essen. And then we have, there's bread and cheese and a sausage. So Brot, Käse, and Wurst. So we'll have those things. We have der Teller, that's what he's eating off of, and he's eating these things with a Löffel and Gabel. Okay, and then let's say there's 3. There is drei. Then he happens to be wearing a hood and Hose. So we've got those 3 things, and then basically we're gonna move from there. So basically you're gonna look at this word. So you have der Vater, and let's say you're basically looking at this in terms of conjugation. Okay, how do I conjugate this? That's where your sticky note comes in. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to write this, and then I'm going to put that with this. So that way I'm associating the conjugation with the word we're using, with the subject we're using. Okay, and then from there, let's say he's eating drei. There's 3. Drei. I'm gonna put the sentence in order. Drei Dinge sind wir. Okay, so we've got 3 elements of food. So let's say he ate 3 sausages. Drei Wurst. So basically, when you're adding, we know from grammar, or at least I know, is that in German we take off the article and it's just the number 3. Drei Wurst. And so basically, depending on what you know, like for the plural version, whether it be an S or in German, sometimes there could be an EN at the end. There could be, there could be an S. It really just depends on what your pluralization rules are, depending on your target language. So that's going to be there. Wurst und Käsebrot. And so here, as you're building that, let's say Käsebrot. So you have a comma, of course, because there's one thing here, Käse. And then from there, you can add, basically from there, you have Brot. So when you're adding a list, you're going to realize, how do I put that in there? I need a conjunction. So then from there, I'm going to use my sticky note. I'm going to write and. So that's basically what I'm going to do. So I'm basically taking that and I'm going to put that next to my Käse, so I can make my sentence. Käse und Brot, das Brot. So so the father is eating 3 sausages, cheese, and bread. Or you can also add even to Wurst, whichever basically that is in plural, and then you can also even add, like to say, a preposition or so. Let's say I'm going to put mit, because that means with. So you're eating 3 sausages with bread and cheese, or cheese and bread. So I add that there, and that's basically how I use that. Then you can also use that again to say, you can also look at the fact that it's on a plate, and he's probably eating it with, actually no, I don't think you would eat sausage with I don't think you eat sausage with a spoon. Let's say he's just eating it with a fork, die Gabel. Okay, so he's eating. So the father is eating, we have that with that verb, 3 sausages with cheese and bread. And let's say that he's eating it on a plate. So, okay, plate. So on would be like let's say for it to be on something. That's another preposition. You can use to say auf, like to say on something. So you could put that next to the teller. Auf. And then also, because the fact that we know in German is that the articles change. So auf usually is going to make it more, dative. I believe so. That's basically what I know. So instead of der, you can put that over here, over the teller. Auf. And because you can also see this is masculine, so that would be dem. Auf dem. No, auf den. It'd be auf den. Auf den Teller. And then you put that is there. So let's move this over here. I'm gonna move these over so you can see these more. So, okay, with your cards, and then from there we have auf dem Teller, and then let's say he has a Gabel. Okay. So let's say that this is one sentence. Period. Okay. Er benutzt. So let's say he's using like, or he's eating with a fork. So then you can basically use your pronoun because the main subject is der Vater, so therefore because it is referring to he in this matter. Benutzt, he is using, like he uses or he is using a fork. So here, this fork, let's say, also because it's die Gabel, this is, which means the fork, but because we're using this as the indefinite, he's using, we wouldn't say he's using the fork, we'd say he's using a fork. So then because this is feminine, we would put that over there, and we would put eine as the proper article to go with that. So benutzt eine Gabel. Okay. And let's say we want to talk about the fact that like he's putting something on. Let's say he's wearing pants and he's wearing a hat. So if that's, when that being the case, is we would say, like, let's say he's put, like, to put something on. So because this is a really interesting verb, because this is a trennbar verb, which is a separating verb. So we're gonna see is, we'll say again, sieht. It would be normally aussehen. So when you would ansehen. So you can make a note that is the infinitive verb, and then you would circle that because that goes to the end. Sieht. And then there's because this is masculine, let's say ein. Sieht ein Hut. Let's put that over the article. He's putting on a hat. Und eine Hose, because it says die Hose, so therefore it's feminine, so it'd be eine Hose, pants. And then let's say he's going into the bathroom with, the bathroom is das Badezimmer, and he goes there to brush his teeth with his Zahnbürste und Zahnpasta. So geht ihm, because like I said, this is in and then dem, because this is dative. So when you're practicing grammar rules, this is important. So in dem. Okay, so it's das Badezimmer, so we know that we're going to put this over here, and it would be Badezimmer. There we go. Geht im Badezimmer. And he's going to Zähne putzen. So we don't have a card for this verb, so we're going to say Zähne zu putzen. To brush teeth. Well, the thing is, German, the grammar is weird, so it's to teeth to clean. It's really weird, but basically that's the point. The point is not for it to make sense, it's for you to be able to make the sentence. Okay, so it's going to Zähne putzen, Zähne zu putzen. So mit ein Zahnbürste, eine, this is feminine, und die Zahnpasta. So we're going to add those in. And if you want to add something in, let's say you want to add a personal pronoun. Like let's say you want to add seine. With seine, with his, instead of saying with a, you can say with, instead of saying with eine, you say with seine. Cover that article. And then und Zahnpasta. And when you're, because it's a list, you don't have to use this pronoun again. So what I'll say is und. Cover that up. Zahnpasta. So looking at this here is we basically have created sentences. Der Vater, or you can also even put mein Vater, because this is also if this is someone that is your father, you can actually add that in. Okay. Mein Vater. So if it's not the father, it's yours. You can add personal pronouns there. Mein Vater. Let's look at this. All the sentences you made. Mein Vater isst 3 wird's mit der Käse und das Brot. Auf dem Teller. Benutzt eine Gabel. Sieht, and then also, because like I said, this goes to the end. The main verb is ansehen. So then that means that the root is the first part, like the prefix is going to go to the end. So we're going to actually put sieht an, so that goes there. It's really weird because the verb is basically like parentheses, and the prefix goes to the end. So you know that when you read. So when you're practicing grammar rules, you'll see that. Benutzt eine Gabel. Sieht ein Hut und eine Hose an. Geht im Badezimmer und Zähne zu putzen mit seiner Zahnbürste und Zahnpasta. So therefore we have created sentences from flashcards. So I would say don't use flashcards to memorize words. That's great, but I would just mostly say is just make sure you're using them in a way where you can actually communicate something. So that way you're able to practice your writing abilities. Even if you don't know how to spell these words out yourself, you're basically putting them in a place where you can actually talk about something significant. So I really hope that was helpful for you. The main point of this exercise is so that you can take words and actually apply them to say something that makes sense. And also with these words, especially depending on the language that you are speaking or the language you're learning, if there's genders that are involved, being able to know, okay, can I identify looking at these, because these cards identify it. Can I identify genders? Because when you look at these words come with gender, like the gendered article. So being able to look at that and see, okay, my cheat sheet is that der is masculine. I know that for sure. What can I put with that? Being able to test if you know other possessive pronouns, or if you know how to basically use other forms of articles to communicate different things. So using that as a clue to what you would want to use in your own writing. So that way, when you know how to build sentences with words that you can, these simple kid words, like I said, these cards are for kids. It says grade school, elementary. This is for elementary school students. So if you're an adult, it may seem silly, but it is a very good idea to start with these, just especially if you are a very, very, basic, like a beginner. Yes, you may have to go back to basics, but that is okay, because at the same time as we're all learning, the whole point is for you to be able to learn how to have a foundation of sentence structure. I know that grammar can be kind of boring, but the thing is that it's going to help you make your words make sense. So, even going back into this, so I'm looking at things like adjectives, which we will talk about in the next video. So with looking at these and being able to identify articles as well as adjectives, because sometimes adjectives, depending on the language you speak, if you speak French, if you speak Spanish, or if you speak what other ones? Italian, most likely the adjectives are going to correspond with the gender of the noun. So you're going to basically want to take these and be able to expand on those in regards to being able to match up those words. So we're going to do more exercises with these cards, believe me. So in the next video, we'll talk more about adjectives and much more in terms of being able to use these cards to be able to have using flashcards as a way of building out your writing as well as your grammatical abilities. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.